You are gross. Okay? You high school dropout criminal piece of shit. Why would we want you back? I don't understand why anyone would think that. What good did you ever do for us?
Imagine what a different world we'd be living in if Onision had just one male figure in his life. Doesn't have to be a father, doesn't have to be a brother, could be anyone. If he had just one self-confident, older male friend whom he respected enough just to hear him out, just to let him challenge his preconceptions a little bit, not just contemptuously dismiss him, insult him, shut him down the moment they disagree. What if there was some other dude present in Onision's life who was saying to him when he made each one of these decisions, no, man, think it through, man. You're doing the wrong thing, man. Man, you're screwing up. Man, no. No, okay, you enjoyed recording that video where you said that thing? Okay, you watched it back? You watched it back once or twice? Okay, now delete it. Now never let another human being see that in your life. No, man, if you upload that, think about the impact it's going to have on your ex-girlfriend. Think about the impact it's going to have on your next girlfriend. Think about the impact it's going to have on your kids, whether you're talking about present tense when he has 2 kids or in the past when you're talking about hypothetical kids in the future. What if he had a male friend, not necessarily a role model, just someone he respects enough to hear him out? What if he had a male friend to engage in Socratic method with him, just in little challenging ways? Like, yeah, you know what, dude? What you just said to me right now makes a lot of sense. Why don't you try saying the exact opposite to me and see how that sounds? See if that makes more sense or less sense. I said that as an exercise to a male friend of mine a couple months ago now. I remember this dude, he was writing to me saying, oh, this girl, she flunked out of school, but I still think she's really brilliant, really intelligent, and, she's not like anybody else, she's special. He said a whole bunch of stuff like this. It was a long statement. It's okay, well, what if we just, as a thought exercise, what if we went through and said the exact opposite of each one of those things, step by step? And the dude did it. I didn't think he'd take it quite so literally, but he, as an exercise, he went back and he rewrote his own email, where instead he was saying, she's not special. She's like anyone else. She dropped out of school, and I don't really know if she's brilliant or stupid or not. Instead of saying she dropped out of school and I'm certain she's still gifted, she's still special, it's like she dropped out of school and I don't really know. I don't really know how intelligent she is. Isn't that interesting? Which one sounds more like the truth? The thing you were insisting on so passionately 5 minutes ago, or just the hypothetical exercise of saying the exact opposite? It's a really weird moment in the philosophy of Socrates. And as always, when you're talking about Socrates, it's not really his philosophy. In this case, it's the philosophy of Socrates as rewritten by Plato. But there's a moment where Socrates is talking to a younger man at the start of his political career. So this is Alcibiades. Alcibiades goes on to be an incredibly famous and infamous military leader, political leader, what have you. And at the beginning of this discussion, the younger man is very skeptical about Socrates. Like, why do I need your help? Why are you trying to help me, whatever? And Socrates is really trying to sell him on this idea. Look, kid, you're at the start of a political career. You want to be a successful public figure. You want to be a successful politician, leader of men, etc. You need me. You need my advice. You need my guidance. You need my philosophy. You need my friendship. And they have this long discussion, long philosophical discussion, and the kid is buying it. The kid is convinced at this stage of the discussion. Okay, wow, Socrates, this is the philosopher I need in my corner. This is the friend I need on my team to help me take the next step in my political career. And Socrates basically says to him, he changes the nature of the sales pitch. Before, it was about politics and democracy and the nature of justice. And all of a sudden, the tone shifts. And Socrates says, you know why that is, kid? You know why you need my help? You know why you need my advice? Because the knowledge you're after, in fact, is knowledge of self. And in the same way that the human eye beholds its own reflection when looking into the pupil of another human eye, in the same way, the soul only beholds its own reflection when looking into another similar human soul. So the sales pitch Socrates is ultimately making is not that he's going to help this kid out by telling him anything in particular about politics or democracy or justice or law or philosophy. No. He's going to help this kid out self-knowledge, with knowing this self. And how is he going to do that? He's going to do it through dialogue, through discussion, through conversation, with the idea being that in debating Socrates, in disagreeing with or talking about these philosophical problems, it's not so much that the kid will arrive at the truth, but that he will arrive at a better understanding of who he himself is by examining himself as reflected in the eyes of Socrates. Woo! What a sales pitch. Damn. For 300 years, these were tremendously influential ideas in European philosophy and even religion. And then, this whole Jesus Christ thing just steamrolled over antiquity and wiped out intellectual legacy of Socrates. Now, that is not a philosophy I believe in myself. That is not a religion I would want to be a member of, to be honest with you. I think that when you sit down with a therapist, you're just paying a stranger to talk to you and pretend that they're your friend. I don't think you are gaining self-knowledge. I don't think you are making any kind of progress philosophically. I don't really think I can believe in the method of Socrates, neither on a pragmatic level nor on a kind of profound and spiritual level this way. But nevertheless, you look at a guy like Onision, you got to say, if he just had someone else in his life just to reflect back to him, just to challenge him on these things, step by step, as he made each terrible mistake, just to challenge him, say, yeah, you know what? Okay, why don't you try it again, saying the exact opposite of what you just said to me? Okay, well, whatever the thought says, okay, let's talk it through. What if you're wrong? What if you do? Okay, if you do that, what do you expect is going to happen? Okay, now what if that doesn't happen? What if it's the opposite? What if the outcome is something other than you're anticipating? Talking these things through. How are you going to feel looking back at this 5 years from now? How is your ex-wife going to feel? How's your ex-girlfriend? How's your next girlfriend going to feel? How are your kids going to feel with this? Whatever the lens is. I mean, again, these are all pretty shallow issues, but, shallow problems are not easy to solve. What is Onision's fundamental problem? He doesn't know how to romance women. He doesn't know how to do anything with women. He never has, right? So what are you going to say? That's shallow. It's not easy to solve. It's not easy for people to talk about. It's not easy for people to ask for help about love. And then if they do ask for help, right, they don't get it. You're not going to get it from a therapist. You're not going to get it from the school principal. You're not going to get it from the cops. Nobody is going to explain to you the stuff that Onision, fundamentally doesn't understand. Okay, look, here's one more mind trick for you guys to play on yourselves. When you don't sympathize with someone, when you know for a fact that you do not sympathize with someone, challenge yourself to analyze the situation. It can be in 5 seconds, to do a quick analysis of the situation. Challenge yourself to do it as if you did sympathize with them, right? What if we did sympathize with Onision? I don't, but what if I did? Okay? Fundamentally, he's a dude trying to get ahead as a comedian. Nobody thinks he's funny. 1 person in a million finds this guy's sense of humor funny. Very few people share his sense of humor. You know what? That makes him more sympathetic. He's trying to get ahead as a comedian in a world where he has a very niche market, right? Okay, that's sympathetic. Okay, he's got 2 kids. He's trying to raise 2 kids out in the middle of nowhere in rural Washington State somewhere. Okay, You know what? That's sympathetic. He's decided to take on this responsibility. He's trying in his way to be a good person, not just for his own family and not just in relation to his comedic audience. It's pathetic, but he gets on one moral crusade after another, whether it's vegetarianism or telling people to improve their hairstyles, weight loss, anorexia, gender identity. There's a whole litany, even some kind of stereotypical left-wing issues, right? He's always on one crusade after another. He's always got this quality of trying to make the world a better place. He just doesn't know how to do it. He just sucks at it, right? And it's kind of similar to his thing with women. He wants more love in his life. He wants to love others and be loved, and that's not an evil thing. He just sucks at it. He's just terrible at it, all right? You know what? That's a pretty sympathetic person I'm describing, right? Hypothetically, it's possible to imagine yourself sympathizing. And then, of course, we could say really quickly why we don't sympathize with them, right? We don't sympathize with him because he's the aggressor. We don't sympathize with him because he's out here actively trying to destroy other people's lives. He's out here trying to ruin their reputations, denounce and defame them, to such an extent. So mean-spirited and vicious and petty. There are all these things that make it impossible to sympathize with them, including his refusal to ever take responsibility, the really long-term negative impacts to other people in his life, whereas, he's walking away laughing in their faces, often literally, and boasting about how he dumped them and how they're terrible people. There are a lot of really obvious reasons for why we don't sympathize with them. But nevertheless,
the dumb bitch spent the money on makeup. How do you spend 10 grand that we paid her to do a job she didn't even do on makeup? I don't understand that. So then she acts like we're just terrible people from taking away from her job at Target. Oh yeah, big loss there. We paid you more than double what you would have made at your fucking job Target, and you're a victim somehow. I don't understand that. So we give you more money to do a job that you didn't even do, easy fucking job, so you could fly out here on our dime, get all these meals on our dime, get all your Starbucks on our dime, just so you don't even wash your armpits, stink up our whole house, And then after we dump you so many times, you have the nerve to, with your new ugly downgrade of a boyfriend, spread these rumors that we're emailing your scumbag piece of when we don't want you. You are gross.
So what did we just do there with this kind of reflection? I don't think for 1 minute that what we're doing here is what Socrates was presenting to us in his sales pitch over 2,000 years ago. When friends talk about problems these ways, even when friends use some kind of Socratic method, broadly speaking, I don't think what we're doing at all is engaging in a voyage of self-knowledge. I don't think that the soul beholds its own reflection in the other person's eye. I don't think anything like that's happening at all. I think what we're doing is challenging one another's motivated reasoning. We're challenging what you want to believe, what you feel certain of, asking you to reflect for a little bit, not even to consider it from my perspective, but to consider it from any other hypothetical person's perspective, from a detached perspective. And all of a sudden, what opens up are all these terrible, obvious possibilities that probably on some level you had thought of before, but didn't want to let yourself think about before. So I mentioned my friend who was writing to me saying, this girl dropped out of school, but I'm certain she's still gifted and brilliant and so on and so on. Well, why would you be certain of that? Maybe she dropped out of school for a reason. But just asking the question, just reflecting on it, just having another person in your life who can stand up to you and prompt you to reflect on this from a radically alien perspective. Not necessarily mine, not necessarily yours, but a detached perspective. That's something really valuable, and it actually has nothing to do with the philosophy of Socrates. I think Socrates was given the right advice for the wrong reasons here. Even the exercise we just talked through, like, okay, so this guy Onision, you don't sympathize with him at all. But if we take a step back and think about the ways in which his situation is sympathetic, the ways in which we might sympathize with it, that's a useful tool even if it is just ultimately in helping us understand more fully why it is we don't sympathize, why it is that we harshly condemn him.
Okay, I said bye. Bye, bitch. Bye. See you later. So, to the new loser, pothead, drug addict boyfriend, go enjoy the chick that we dumped. Okay? Enjoy the chick that wasn't good enough for us to keep. Enjoy your dirty, sloppy, second-hand girlfriend. Peace.
Da, 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 da.